Sometimes the quietest voice has the loudest power. The chandeliers of Ristorante Bellavita glimmered like captured stars, spilling golden light over polished marble floors and crystal glasses. The quiet hum of conversation, the soft clink of silverware, and the faint strains of live violin created an atmosphere where wealth and power seemed to float in the air like perfume. At the center table sat Lorenzo De Luca, 42, a billionaire whose empire spanned luxury fashion, real estate, and finance. Every movement of his was deliberate. The tilt of his chin, the fold of his navy suit, the glint of his watch. He was a man who assumed dominance, simply by existing. With him were his two business partners from Milan and his fiancée, Elena Moretti, whose emerald silk gown seemed to swallow the candlelight in envy. Tonight, the table was not about food. It was about power. Every detail of the evening screamed success. Hand-stitched tablecloths, polished silver, and the soft, golden glow reflecting off crystal wine glasses. The first course arrived, carried by Amara Collins, the waitress assigned to their table. Dark-skinned, in her mid-20s, hair neatly tied into a bun. She moved with practiced grace. Her expression was calm, professional, but behind a composed exterior, her chest tightened at every sneer and whispered insult from diners like Lorenzo. "Good evening, gentlemen. Would you like still or sparkling water?" she asked softly. "Still," Lorenzo said in English, thick with an Italian accent. "And quickly, please. We have a busy night." As she turned to leave, Lorenzo leaned toward his partners and muttered in Italian, "Guarda questa cameriera. Così seria, come si servire fosse an honor. Look at this waitress. So serious, as if serving us were an honor." His companions chuckled. "For people like her, maybe it is." Amara's pulse tightened, but she remained composed. She had endured insults before, but something about this arrogance made her blood boil beneath the surface. She reminded herself of her mother's words. "Amara, dignity is yours, even when others try to take it." 2 years ago, Amara had been a top linguistic student at Columbia University, fluent in 5 languages, with dreams of translating for the United Nations. But life had tested her. Her mother's sudden illness forced her to leave school, her scholarship lost, her dreams placed on hold. Now, she worked at Bellavita, not for prestige, but for survival. Every insult endured paid the bills. Every forced smile carried responsibility. Tonight, silence would have a price, and it would rise. Chapter 2. The Subtle Cruelty. Dinner progressed. Lorenzo spoke freely, commenting on the quality of service and the exotic faces of staff. His friends laughed at Amara, unaware she understood every word. At one point, Lorenzo leaned close and said in Italian, "Forse potrebbe meglio se servisse a casa mia." Maybe she'd do even better if she served at my house. Amara placed the plates down gently, bowing slightly. "Is there anything else I can get for you, gentlemen?" Lorenzo smirked. "Just keep them coming. And speak properly if you can." The arrogance, the condescension, stung, but Amara had mastered the languages he assumed were beyond her. Italian, English, French, Spanish, Swahili. They were all tools she had wielded in classrooms and hospitals, now quietly in her hands at the dinner table. The restaurant buzzed around her, but she felt only the tension at this single table. Years of injustice, of being dismissed for factors outside her control, had taught her one thing. Patience is power, but truth is stronger. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. Dignity is yours, even when the world tries to take it. And tonight, she would not remain silent. Chapter 3. The Spark. Amara approached the table again, carrying the next course. Ossobuco with saffron risotto, the chef's masterpiece. Every step was precise, every gesture professional. She set the plates carefully before Lorenzo and his companions. "Here you are, gentlemen," she said softly. "I hope you enjoy your meal." Lorenzo's smirk deepened. "Ah, the waitress speaks. You carry food so well, it's almost impressive." His friends laughed. He switched back to Italian. "Una ragazza come lei non capirebbe my l'arte della class." A girl like her would never understand the art class. Amara's hands tightened around the tray for a fraction of a second. Years of forced patience, of enduring humiliation, surged through her, but she remained composed. She reminded herself, wealth does not grant superiority. Status does not equal respect. True power comes from dignity. Every insult was ammunition, every sneer an opportunity. She would not strike out of anger, but with clarity, with truth. Chapter 4. Arrogance meets its match. Lorenzo leaned toward his companions, chuckling. She's just a pretty face. The rest is invisible. Amara's pulse quickened, not with fear, but with focus. Her mind replayed every injustice. The stolen scholarship, her mother's illness, nights spent comforting patients and family members alike. She observed, cataloged, and waited. Lorenzo's arrogance, his companions' assumptions, every gesture and smirk, they all revealed weaknesses. When he commented in Italian again, suggesting she might serve better at his home, Amara finally let herself feel the fire, but she contained it. Calmness would be her weapon. The restaurant hummed around her, unaware that the central table was a stage for a reckoning long overdue. She repeated her mother's lesson. Dignity is yours, even when the world tries to take it. And she knew the moment to act was near. Chapter 5. The calm before the storm. The soft strains of the violin, the low murmur of conversation, and the clinking of silverware faded into the background. Amara's focus narrowed. She approached with the final course. Delicate tiramisu, plated elegantly. Lorenzo smirked, expecting her to continue in silence. The dessert arrives, he said in Italian, with patronizing amusement. Perhaps it will improve your understanding of refinement. Amara's hands rested lightly on the table. Her eyes met his, steady and unwavering. Her voice, when it came, would carry years of patience, education, and courage. She inhaled slowly. Every insult, every belittlement, every whispered assumption of inferiority crystallized into one purpose. Speak truth calmly, firmly, and without fear. The restaurant seemed to pause with her. Patrons froze mid-bite. Waiters slowed. Even the violinist held the bow suspended. This was the moment. The storm was about to break. Chapter 6. The Moment of Truth. Amara spoke in perfect Italian. Mi chiedo, signore, essi l'arte della classe significhi humiliarci lavoro onestamente. In Italia mi hanno insegnato che la vera eleganza e il rispetto. I wonder, sir, if the art of class means humiliating those who work honestly. In Italy, I was taught that true elegance is respect. The room froze. Forks hovered midair. Conversations halted. Even the violinist's string seemed to quiver. Lorenzo's smirk faltered. His companions blinked rapidly. A journalist, Ethan Reed, discreetly recorded the moment. Amara continued, voice calm, unwavering. Parlo cinque lingue, signore. Ho studiato all'Università di Columbia. Ma anche essi non palasi una sola parola. Illinois rispetto non dipende dalla lingua. I speak 5 languages, sir. I studied at Columbia University. But even if I spoke none, respect doesn't depend on language. Murmurs rippled through the room. Patrons began clapping, then applauding louder, until nearly the entire dining room joined. Lorenzo's face burned crimson. He tried to laugh, to regain composure. So you speak Italian. Bravo, but you're still just a waitress. Amara smiled faintly. Yes, sir. I serve with dignity. Something money cannot buy. The silence that followed shattered arrogance. Lorenzo stormed out, his companions trailing behind, laughter gone. Amara returned to the kitchen. The truth, she told her wide-eyed manager. By morning, Milan awoke to a viral video of Amara's calm defiance. Hashtag Voice of Respect trended globally. Columbia reinstated her scholarship. International NGOs and translation agencies sought her expertise. Her mother recovered, her apartment filled with warmth. Lorenzo de Luca became a cautionary tale. Amara's life transformed, not through revenge, but through dignity, courage, and speaking truth to power. Indeed, that's the story of Amara Collins, the waitress who refused to be silenced. A single moment of courage, spoken with dignity and truth, changed her life and reminded the world that respect isn't bought with money. It's earned through actions and integrity. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more inspiring tales of courage, resilience, and justice. Remember, sometimes the quietest voice speaks the loudest truth. Comment below. Who would you want to see standing up for themselves like Amara?